Hello everybody and welcome back to the WM32Football podcast. We've had a couple of weeks break and as you know, I'm sure, that there has been a lot going on in football over the past couple of weeks or so. But one of the main talking points and one of the main issues is that Manchester City have been hit with a ban from European club competitions for 2 years. Connor, we know City are going to probably appeal this ban and have chucked a lot of money at some very, very good lawyers to sort this case out. But for those that are a little bit unaware of what has happened, I don't know where you've been if you haven't heard of this, by the way. Just go into a little bit more detail and tell us what's
so my week's been spent doing non-stop research from The Athletic to other articles. I'm going to give you a quick rundown. 2-year Champions League ban, £25 million fine. The FA have come out and said they will not be stripped of their titles. This is down, I don't know why, so yeah, again, it's still funny. Gerrard still doesn't have a Premier League medal. With FFP, you're allowed 25 mil in losses,
right?
As we all know. But this is not the first time City have put out really bad numbers and lied in ways that have got them in trouble. In 2014, they were hit with a £49 million fine, which 32 mil was suspended. Don't know why. But that was after a £150 million loss over a 2-year period.
Right.
So there is a bit more of a background. Their appeal have gone to CAS, who are the people that got Chelsea's ban from 2 transfer windows down to 1.
Yes, it's the Court of Arbitration for Sport, isn't it? So usually when big cases or things like this happen, it goes to the Court of Arbitration for Sport.
But as we know, UEFA, they haven't been fans of City. It is known when they went to Monaco when they first qualified for the Champions League. Big teams like Bayern, Barca, Madrid were like, we don't like them, we're wary, there's something dodgy about them. Quite ironic that those 3 clubs have come out and said that. And apparently they were laughed out of the room quite easily, the people that went there representing City. That was in Monaco in 2013, 14, I think it was, I can't remember exactly when. Sort of laughed out the room, and from there they've never had a good relationship. So what CAS can do, CAS can turn around to UEFA and go, can we shorten the ban? And UEFA can go, no, they've cheated. They can get rid of the fine completely, or they can go, you cheated, we're keeping it. So they've appealed and spent a lot of money on big lawyers to go there, and the reason they've done this is because of PSG.
Right, talk to me about PSG then, because is this something that we can potentially look at as a little bit harsh on Man City, given other clubs and the way they're doing their activities?
Well, City have come out, a spokesman's come out and said, we've done nothing wrong. We've acted like all super clubs. First of all, you're not a super club yet. Like, it's known. Neither are PSG, and they've gone, look what PSG did. So PSG took money from the Qatari tourism advisement of 100 million. CAS and UEFA did an investigation, found out that it was closer to what they would have got was 5 million. This was in 2017. It was close to 5 million. A guy called I'm not sure it's French.
You struggle with English.
Yeah, I struggle with English. He was in charge of the investigation. He also turned around to PSG and went, you do your own investigation into how much it could be, employ your own people. The Trem got Octagon to look into it, said it was around 5 million. PSG turned around and went, oh, it's near 100 million. And instead of going, okay, we need to find a middle ground, he went, we'll go with what PSG's is. And that's why PSG got away with it. So they said it was close to, even though they were investigated and it was found to not be anywhere near. So that's where City have their little bit of gripe, because that led PSG to be able to buy players like Neymar and Mbappe with quite a lot of ease.
Because I remember that particular summer they bought, obviously they hit Neymar's release clause, which was over 200 million. And then they were quite clever in the way they done the Mbappe deal. So it was a loan with an obligation to buy. So they didn't. That was their way around FFP at the time.
Yeah. So that's how they got around it. So that's why City feel quite hard done by. But with what Man City have done, Football Leaks and Der Spiegel have brought this to light through leaked emails. City have now come out and said those emails are illegally obtained. But once they were obtained, they were taken to people and now being made basically public knowledge. So even if this ban gets thrown in the bin because of the way of getting the emails being illegal, someone else can go and do it because they're now public knowledge. So either way, City look like they're in trouble. Let me talk to you about why there is a massive problem with what has been said. So they report that they bring in around 67 million off of Etihad a year. Yeah. The Football Leaks and Der Spiegel look into everything, and they found out it was close to 8 million a year, and 60 million of it came from Sheikh Mansour's, and they quoted it as a umbrella company, being the Abu Dhabi government actually paying this. And there is now declassified US documents saying that in 2010 there was a letter to a prince saying that Etihad and the Abu Dhabi government were paying towards Man City, which you've seen from obviously the documentary when they went out there.
Yeah.
It was all sort of like a bit weird because the person that one of the people they met with and City fans think are one of their highest investors and stuff like this and people at the club is actually a spokesman for the royal family over there.
Yeah.
So that's where a lot of things have come.
Yeah, and I do believe that the City owners either own Etihad as a company or have strong ties and investments
They
within
have
within
very strong ties because Etihad in 2013 alone, and this is on US documents, posted a record loss of 4 billion after taking a loan from the Abu Dhabi government of 5 million as well. So, not great.
We're talking big numbers here.
Talking very big numbers. But the way it's been worded by some people, so like a lot of people on like say Sky or BBC have just gone, well, they've spent money they don't have. That's not necessarily true. What has happened is they've said the money they're getting are from Etihad, which it isn't. It's from someone else. And the Abu Dhabi government, as it has been said, and I'm just saying this because people have said it as a like when speaking about this, have taken money from some of the worst people in the world, including ISIS and other terror groups, to keep their government going. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's what has been reported. Let's talk about City's last year financially. They brought in a record revenue for them of 535 million.
Would that have helped with their run to say quarterfinals of the Champions League, the winning of the Premier League, the winning of the FA Cup, the winning of the League Cup?
Well, from the Champions League, they only got 77 million. So
I mean, that's still nice money if you
yeah,
can get
it's still
it.
nice money.
Yeah.
Still decent money, innit? But have a guess how much of 535 million, including 77 million from the Champions League, was net profit?
I'm going to go with about 5 million.
10 mil.
10 mil. I wasn't far.
So not far. It helps that I told you earlier.
I still got it wrong.
You still got it wrong. Yeah, so a 10 mil profit, which compared to a lot of clubs is not bad, but not great.
Yeah, I mean, obviously most sort of football clubs operate at a loss anyway, so I think any football club that is operating at a profit is obviously in a healthy position. But then you look at Manchester City and the City Football Group, because I think one of City's bigger, or one of their ways around financial fair play was let's invest in different football clubs around the world. So obviously you've got New York City in America, you've got Girona in Spain, Melbourne City in Australia, and now they're venturing into India and China as well.
But that revenue has come with the inflated sponsorships obviously Nissan, Puma, and it's like some Japanese company. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. It's just, there's no point me trying to pronounce it. Those three are fine, they're normal. Like, they've been cleared as proper. When it comes to Etihad, obviously it's been massively inflated by near on 60 odd million apparently. That's if it's true what has been said. Obviously what I'm saying is hanging on a cliff, because if City come out with, because they've said they've got irrefutable evidence that they've done nothing wrong. It was your own emails that did you in, mate. That's like a guy cheating on his missus, her finding the text and going, I've got irrefutable evidence, I didn't know. You know what I mean? But like, they say they got irrefutable evidence, say it wasn't them, it's not their fault, they've done everything properly. It's their own emails that were leaked that done them over. So it looks like the ban's going to be held. Which then comes on to a lot of problems for City. This is what I spent a day researching. So basically a lot of players, so you've got Sane, Aguero ending their contracts next summer. The summer after they've got 7 players ending their contracts. They've also got Pep ending his contract next summer. But what a lot of the players have is, obviously a lot of players have bonuses in their contracts anyway. Yeah. The City players have Champions League bonuses. Yeah. Some reaching up to 7-figure sums. Whether that's getting out of the group stage, reaching the quarterfinals. Those are the 2 main buffers. Basically what's been said, if they don't get Champions League football, they rather still have to pay the players the bonuses, which could mean they go into a loss, which in financial fair play, when they're already under a lot of strict rulings, can be very dangerous for them. Or they don't pay them, which would be a breach of contract, which means the players can sue the club and get their contracts torn up. Which means you'll have players like Aguero, Sane, Sterling, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Ederson, all leave on freeze.
Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
You mentioned earlier about the FA and the fact that they are going to not strip City of any titles. But is there a scenario where we could see City falling not right the way back down the football pyramid, but falling quite a way down the football pyramid?
The FA and the Premier League run their FFP slightly differently to UEFA and FIFA. I'm not sure the ins and outs of it, because no one really knows the ins and outs of FFP anyway. But they said not going to strip them of their titles. They're looking into it, but they're waiting for what CAS says with City's appeal. If they withhold City's ban, the Premier League might not do anything. Depending on what happens, the most likely scenario is they get a points deduction. It doesn't look like they'll be relegated to any leagues, because of, basically, it will be taking money out of the Premier League's pocket. Because they are a big club in England, which bring big players in, amazing managers, and people want to watch them because they play good football.
What I'm trying to get at is, are we going to see Pep Guardiola on the touchline at, say, Salford away or Oldham away in League 2 anytime soon? No. You've killed everyone now. You've killed everyone.
I know, but basically it's just purely because it will keep money in the FA and the Premier League's pocket. Because if you push them all the way down, that means you've got to push another club up from each league. Yeah? And then what? You're going to have, Forest, West Brom, and a couple others fighting for automatic at the moment. Well, I think it's Forest. I don't really watch Championship.
Forest are up there. Forest are up there.
I know Forest are up there because one of my managers at work will not shut up because he's a Forest fan. Like one of them coming in, and then some people will be like, "Oh, it's like West Ham, Forest. Am I really going to watch it?" No.
West Ham are probably going down anyway, by the way. So.
Let's hope. But if you are bored on like a Sunday morning, nothing to do, and City happen to be playing some team, you know there's going to be a class player, and you watch for that class player. So if you take him out, you can lose that money side of the game, which no one wants. Looks like a possible point deduction, which would be hilarious. So they'll be scrapping relegation for the first couple months. And then if Liverpool go on to win the league and go, well, they had a points deduction, and it doesn't really count. But yeah, it could get very sticky. Basically, there's a lot of scenarios that if CAS decide to take... So CAS can turn around to UEFA and go, we're taking the ban away. And UEFA can go, you're not. It's like the kid when he gets annoyed when he brings his own ball. My ball, going home. UEFA can literally do that. They can just go, you cheated, bye. Like, it can be done. That's why we've seen clubs like Arsenal and Tottenham in recent years, with the new stadium builds, be a little bit stricter around what they can spend on. Obviously, Spurs have been able to...
Spurs have always been strict on what we
Yeah.
spend on, trust me.
Yeah,
Trust
but
me.
you had that plan in place before, so you had more money to spend when the stadium came in.
Yeah.
To not have this problem with FFP, because basically what FFP are there for is to stop financial doping of a man coming in and going, yeah, there's £1 billion on a club. Do what you want. Which is what Chelsea sort of did in the early 90s. That's what they've come in to now prevent. Because it's like you look at my favourite person in the world, Stan Kroenke, owns Yellow Rounds, owns loads of stuff, lot of money. He can't just go, yeah, there's like 100 odd million Arsenal, go spend it on one player. Because...
He's nearly spent it on Pepe, to be fair. Not far off.
Not far off. But it was on player amortisation. So that's how we got away with it. Like, that's what it's there to stop. And basically what City have done, have come in and gone, this is what we're actually making. We're going to tell you it's something different.
Yeah. So someone in the accounts department is probably on a bit of a fiddle.
Yeah.
One interesting point that I've heard throughout the all the information that keeps getting linked with City's ban and everything like that was that it's essentially Wilfred Boney that has put City in this predicament.
I wish it was.
So it's not it's not like a 30 million for Wilfred Boney that City ended up spending on him.
It will contribute, yes, but it's mainly due to some very dodgy fingers in the offices that are just going, okay, we're not actually making enough money to pay these players the wages we're giving them. We need to inflate the prices or get it from somewhere else. And that's why Sheikh Mansour, obviously very close with the Abu Dhabi government, has been able to get money through from the government and put it under Etihad. It's very similar with Wolves. Okay, so their owner owns two businesses. His second business owns part of Chesterfield, which is George Mendes's
group
agency.
Yeah.
Alright, so he owns that. He owns... The owner of Wolves owns two businesses. Second business owns part of Chesterfield, which, through the FA, a owner is not allowed to own any part of a business that an agent owns.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. 15 of the last, I think it was 20-something players Wolves have signed are Chesterfield clients. Obviously they'll pay agency tax, agency fee, which 15% of will go back to him anyway because he owns a second company that owns 15% of Chesterfield. So there's a lot of clubs.
Yeah, I remember the Wolves one because Wolves then I think a lot of clubs in the Championship at the time when it came to light were asking the EFL to investigate, and then Wolves very cleverly, I must admit, said that no, George Mendes is just an advisor.
Yeah.
To us.
But you look at their starting lineup most of the time at Chesterfield players. We're gonna do a podcast about Wolves and George Mendes's fiddly hands at some point, which Kurt will absolutely hate because they're on the verge of Champions League football. Talking of Champions League football, UEFA are yet to decide what will happen with Manchester City's placing.
Right.
A lot of people I think it's going to go to the 5th place club.
Mhm.
UEFA are yet to decide, due to City's actions, if an English club deserves the spot. So it could just be, no, not happening, we'll pick a club at random to go straight in from the qualification sides. Which for Sheffield United...
I was going to say, imagine Champions League football at Bramall Lane,
or
at Molineux, or at Molineux, or a club that isn't perhaps used to do those Champions League or even European nights. I know Wolves have had European nights this year, but imagine them going into the Champions League
stage. Beautiful. So yeah, UEFA, it really, really hangs on the balance of this CAS investigation and this appeal, because obviously CAS are known to shorten or take away bans or fines. With the Chelsea one, Chelsea didn't need to. We spoke about this. Chelsea didn't need to go. Can you get rid of our second window transfer ban? If you'd sat it out, and then if it had happened again in future, you could have gone. We took 2 transfer bans for something wasn't that bad, so you can't really hit us that hard this time. So CAS are known for it. It just depends on if the people at UEFA, who apparently really don't like City as it is, turn around and shift City, which would be funny. I was speaking to a few people about this while diving down the rabbit hole of FFP, City, and apparently the Abu Dhabi government and ISIS, which kind of hurt me. Abu Dhabi looks like a beautiful country. There's a lot of clubs doing this, with including sleeve sponsorships and stuff like that. Obviously, Arsenal have got their Visit Rwanda one.
I don't know if anybody has thought about it after it's been on Arsenal shirts, by the way, but you never know.
Their Visit Rwanda one, which has just been extended. Basically, I'm not sure if he's Prime Minister or President or whatever he is of Rwanda, massive Arsenal fan. Instead of investing money into the country to make the country more wealthy and a better place, he invested into Arsenal to sponsor, because he is an Arsenal fan.
Wouldn't say that's a wise move.
Neither would I. Which Arsenal apparently pocketing around 10 million a year to take money off of a government that is a very cruel government and is seen to do a lot of very poor things. And you've got PSG going into Qatar, known for not being the loveliest of places at the best of times. City and their Abu Dhabi stuff. There's a few clubs that are on the brink if City go through a bad thing with this Abu Dhabi government and it comes out that, like, say ISIS were involved with payments, and then those payments might have fueled City, then other clubs will be looked into.
Well, the clubs, obviously you mentioned PSG, there is potentially any others?
PSG, unfortunately Arsenal as well, apparently due to the Visit Rwanda stuff. Don't know how true that is. That's just sort of like hearsay. And a few other clubs. Obviously you've got Real Madrid and Barca are being looked into due to how they managed to get around FFP. Absolute Santander. Obviously La Liga's being investigated as well, due to their decision to host the Supercopa, or was it the Copa del Rey, in the final and semi-final in, I can't even remember what country it is in.
Oh, in another country.
Yeah, in the Middle East, to promote their football in a country that I can't remember what country it was, but the person said in a country that is known for not the greatest human rights laws. So a lot of these clubs are mixing with countries that don't have a great human rights laws, which the FA, FIFA and UEFA are sitting there going, that's not right, which it isn't, let's be honest. So if City go down quite badly, there are a few clubs that could fall with them.
Yeah, well, if City are to go down, as the chant goes, they've got $1 billion in the bank.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I
well,
think
apparently.
Apparently, a few City fans been singing that one over the last last couple of games for sure.
Might have to get used to City Sheffield Wednesdays.
I think, well, there's an age of and a generation of City fans that are used to,
Yeah.
you know, some poor games and travelling to deepest parts of the country, like Grimsby away or whatnot. So City fans, the new generation, you've got it good because the older generation have had to suffer quite a lot.
Yeah, this could be very bad for football, from what has been said, because there is obviously Chelsea got investigated for their stuff, got caught. City have been investigated, not really too much, and got caught, because literally Football Leaks and Dispiegel got access to a couple of emails, and the emails literally said about 8 mil is coming from Etihad and 60 mil is coming from a Sheikh Mansour company run by the Abu Dhabi government. You've got to do a little bit more to cover up your dodgy dealings, don't you? Don't just actually put it in email and just go, there you go. But yeah, their main sponsorships, as in Puma, Nissan and Japanese company, will be fine. They've sort of done what United did, where you just get sponsorships from anywhere and everywhere. Like, remember, United have got they've got one with Cole now that's on their sleeve. That's a toilet.
Right. Okay.
Manufacturing, quite ironic. They've got a wine in Chile. They've got tractors in some random country that they like just make money off of. That's what City have tried to do, but because of them inflating what they get in to get round FFP, they've been caught out.
And they've been caught out pretty heavily. Seems. Anything else? Can you shed a little bit of light? Is there any light at the end of this tunnel for Man City and for their fans especially? Because it doesn't. Well,
doesn't look good, does it?
No, it doesn't. So give them at least.
I'm going to get hammered this week. I don't want to get hammered anyway. I'm going to get hammered this week.
Yeah, so give them a little bit of something. Cheer the City fans up at least, please.
I don't know how to. Pep said he's staying another year. No, I was speaking to someone and they said City are now going to have to rebuild and use a lot of their youngsters, so you're going to have Phil Foden get more games. They are going to have to sell players, which means they finally might get rid of John Stones.
You're only saying that because you're linked with him.
Oh no. Yeah, so there will be players' sales to make up money, because if you take away the Champions League, they'll get Champions League from this season, but after that, they won't be making 77 mil off of the Champions League, if not more. They could just go all out now and try and win it this year, which, after beating Madrid at Madrid, could happen. Actually quite a good game, went and watched it, pub with the boys. Decent game. De Bruyne's a madness. Shame when he rips up his contract because he sues them. But there are going to be players that will leave, like Sane looks like he's going to leave now, almost definitely, because he's got a year left on his contract. No Champions League football. At his age, he'll be like, yeah, bye. Sterling looks like he'll stay and stay throughout the ban. You'll have players like Aguero, who's 33 now.
Mm-hmm.
If he stays for another 2 years, realistically he's going to be 35, going in to try and win the Champions League again. Gabriel Jesus might stay, 'cause he's at that age where he can go, I can miss a couple of years. It's alright, you're going to pay me anyway. There's talks with De Bruyne leaving this summer now because of it, because he's at that age where if he stays, he goes into it at 29, 30, trying to win the Champions League again. So there will be sales, but that means there will be more chances with players like a Phil Foden and Eric Garcia, or whoever they've got coming through their academy. So they could realistically, if they have this ban in 2 seasons, be Chelsea, which most of their fans came from anyway.
Brilliant. Right, that is it for us for this week. We hope you enjoyed delving into a little bit more in terms of the details of City's ban. I know I certainly enjoyed it. Some things there that I didn't necessarily know, so thank you for bringing those to light, Connor. YouTube wise, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like and a comment, and also follow us on Spotify as well. Peace out.